Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Man United Agenda. It's 8:30, and we're ready to go. Yes, right on time. 8:30. You can set your watch by us. Yes, it's the Man United Agenda. We're back again for another show, and I'm really delighted today to be joined once again by Petty Talks United. How you doing, man?
And mate, listen, pleasure to be back on. I'm doing great, and I hope you're well. Hopefully, I hope back time you're well as well, mate. And everyone in the chat, hopefully you've all had a nice start to your week. Well, we're in Wednesday now, aren't we? We're at Wednesday, so midweek. Hopefully everyone's all okay.
Well, it's nice to have you back on. Something really funny happened backstage. We were bath time, and Petty haven't met before, so they said their introductions. And Petty said, "Do I call you bath time?" With a straight face, you know. He must get this all the time. So, we are calling you bath time. That is his name.
Yeah, it is.
Bath time. How are you? How's your day been?
Oh, really good, thanks, lads. As always, I'm delighted to be back on. Looking forward to getting stuck into a Better Call Saul later, which I'm glad we didn't do in the summer, actually, with Saul Niguez or whatever, who turned up at Chelsea. But yeah, looking forward to discussing United and just over the moon that this disaster of a season has finished. Like, let's get some hope going. Or delusion.
When you say disaster, let's just go into this quickly. Yeah. How bad has it been for you in your lifetime be supporting Man United? Is this the lowest of the low for you?
No, I still say, right, and a lot of people disagree with me on this, but I remember the nadir as a United fan for me was the Louis van Gaal December. Of just all like there was something about that it felt that my soul had been like sucked out. Like in Harry Potter, they go on about the monsters or something that take your soul from you, and that's what it felt like with Louis van Gaal. He was a demonster or a dementor. I don't know what they were called, but
ginger. They say that about gingers as well. That they take their soul away.
I don't know. That sounds slightly problematic. Paul Scholes gave me romance and passion in my blood. Yeah.
Can you just remind us, people who don't know, what happened in December that was so mad?
Right. It was about 10 games, and I think we scored like 4 goals, and it was just 0-0s, 0-0s, 1-1s, and it went on and on. But the football was like, it was sort of possession for the sake of possession. And I know a lot of people think we should have given Van Gaal more time. But for me, it was insipid. It looked like the tactic was we were going to bore the opposition to death and then take advantage of it. And it was only really when the much maligned Marcus Rashford burst on the scene that any pace came into the attack. And it was just watching it was like death by molasses. You felt it was like, because death by paper cuts is like you feel something. With that, you're just being drowned in mediocrity, and it was awful. But this season, I tell you why I think that this season is a disaster. It's first of all, it's the disconnect between the match-going fans and the players. That's all for me. That's always got to be number one. It's that the team and the players need to support each other. It's what makes Manchester United special. That covenant since '58 with the Munich air disaster and so on. It's crucial to our club. And like, I don't want to get straight into Rangnick early on because I do not like Rangnick and I want him out of the club. But I just feel this season we had so much hope when it started. And now I feel like I'm coming back from a war. Like I feel changed, and it's like, how do you pick up the threads of an old life? That's what Manchester United made me feel like at the moment.
Made me bald.
Well, let's call this a therapy session. Now, Petty, do you remember Louis van Gaal December? And what's your worst moment? I mean, is this as low as it's got for you?
For me, it is, yeah. But I do remember that December time because we drawn about 8 games on the bounce. We was playing defensive against, was it teams like Sunderland, and I can't remember who else came to Old Trafford, and we were just sitting back. But for me, this is the worst season going because for like what Bath Time said, it's just how distant the players and the fans are. They don't care, so the players don't care at the end of the day, and that's just how it is. I've not really wanted to watch the last couple of games towards the end of the season because I thought, well, they're not bothered. Why should we be bothered? And it's just disheartening at the end of the day because we live for football, don't we? People go to work all week and want to enjoy the football. And this season, we haven't been able to, have we? Not once. Well, the opening day against Leeds, and that's about it.
Well, like Moses, he came along with a new covenant for the people, and maybe that's what Ten Hag's about to bring. So people rejoice. The gospel is here. The good news is here that Ten Hag is in the house and he's going to represent for us. We hope. I just want to go and say hi to a few people in the comments because we cannot run the show without our people in the comments. There's Solo in the house. Matthew Bassett, he says he's going to come back and watch later. So hopefully your ears will be burning. We've talking about you, Matthew. Solo again is saying hi to Matthew. There's someone called Petty Talks United. Anyone know him?
I put a little message in.
How do you do that? Ole Kunle, how you doing, Ole Kunle? You're in the house as well. We get back to you. Just keep typing in. Solo again saying hello to everyone. What's great? The host with the most is Solo. He's so polite. Bill Badger's in the house. How you doing, Bill Badger? He's got a new logo with Badger number 10 at the back. What a great player he was. Stumpy Candletop is in the house. How you doing? Stumpy saying I was at Old Trafford when United got relegated, but this season has been worse. Wow. That was with against Man City, wasn't it? With the back heel. And yeah, just a few talk him using the house as well. So yeah, like I say, we've got a new covenant. It's come from Erik ten Hag, and it's exciting, isn't it? So I know talking to Bath Time a lot. Bath Time comes on the channel quite a lot, and we have a lot of discussions. Bath Time sort of give me a lot of knowledge about the goalkeeper and sort of identified that we've got an ish situation with our goalkeeper. Even though De Gea might be seen as player of the year and fantastic saves for the cameras and that kind of thing, we got a new manager coming with a new system, new philosophy, new style of play, and there's question marks about whether De Gea can tick all the boxes. He's a great shot stopper, but do you just quickly want to sum up, Bath Time, what it is about De Gea that you don't like? Because you've done a analysis on Erik ten Hag and the Ajax. So do you think De Gea fits? Should be a poll in the comments. Do you think De Gea fits our style of play, which will be under Erik now?
No. No, I don't. Okay, so to sort of like briefly summarize the professional aspects of David De Gea that I don't like. De Gea is a sort of reactive goalkeeper instead of a proactive goalkeeper. I know we all laud him for his shot stopping. His stats suggest that he hasn't been a good shot stopper for quite a long time. But the main problems that I have with De Gea is his distribution, his command of the box, and him being like stuck on the 6-yard line. You might all like this in a goalkeeper, and you might be saying, this is what I think a keeper should do, should like just get it out of the goal.
Why are you talking like that? Why are you talking like that? Eh?
For fun. I don't know. But yeah, it's just voices, isn't it? But
how are you feeling?
Feeling ropey. But I think with De Gea, right, the issues are quite clear to see. Is that when you look at sort of build-up play at the moment, you'll notice that keepers such as Sanchez, Ederson, Alisson, even the Norwich goalkeeper Tim Krul, they're all involved in it. That means that when you build up with a back three, you will have the goalkeeper as part of that back three. When the goalkeeper is not part of that back three, you have to pull a midfielder back in to do it. And that instantly makes us one light in the midfield. And that is really, really difficult for any football team to control a match by basically having a player less. So this is my big problem with De Gea. And also, I don't like him as a person. I don't like his comments. He's an absolute lunatic, the quotes he comes out with. And I have a theory as well that one of the best things United could do at the moment is purge as much of Alex Ferguson from the squad and the club as possible and have a clean break. So get rid of De Gea, get rid of Phil Jones. We're doing it on a managerial level. We should do it with the squad as well and just try and build something new instead of clinging to the ghosts of the past, getting Ouija boards out.
Yeah. Petty, what do you think about that? Because De Gea has been like the hero. He's won about 4 or 5 players of the year. But do you think he's past it? Do you think he hasn't evolved as a goalkeeper? Do you think goalkeeping has evolved in a way? And do you think that the new manager will require more from him?
100%. I see. I've watched quite, obviously, with all the Erik Ten Hag rumours, I've watched quite a bit of Ajax this season. And you see, was it Unama, their keeper's name?
Yes.
Ajax, well, their old keeper. He was right. He's proactive. He's getting the ball even off the centre backs. He's telling them, "You go and do what you have got to do." He's bringing it out halfway line at times, kicking it out, getting it out to the wings on each flank. So for me, I think Erik Ten Hag and De Gea will have a bit of a problem. But the good thing about Erik Ten Hag is not scared enough to get rid of the keeper, if that makes sense. He's done it with Unama last season when he was messing around. He said, "All right, go on holiday, go and sort your move out." So he's already done it with his number one there, bought Stecklenburg, he got injured, and then they had to bring in like a third choice keeper who could fit his system. So for me personally, I think him and Erik Ten Hag and David De Gea will have an issue next season. But I think there's too many different problems in the team at the moment with the CDM, a centre-back, maybe a new full-back or two, a striker. So I honestly think that'll be next season. And I honestly don't, I think this will be De Gea's last season for me, personally.
Okay, so big issues. That was always a question mark, wasn't it? We're coming in with a new manager. We saw that with Pep when he came into Man City. He straight away got rid of the England number one goalkeeper, Joe Hart. He wasn't suitable for his style of play, So maybe we're seeing that here. But like we were saying, we've been speculating for weeks about what positions are the priority. And everyone was talking about striker, midfielder, different positions. But maybe the goalkeeper's going to be thrown in as well, because here's the news. Just get rid of this quickly. Big news, guys. The guy called Gio Marmadashvili. He's a Georgian player. He's 21 years old. He's started his first season at Valencia. He's 6'6" or 1.99 m. Very tall, that is. Taller than me. He's a giant out there. Young and getting rave reviews in La Liga right now. So he's playing for Valencia and he's fighting out with Kluisens, the Dutch goalkeeper as well. So Kluisens knows about him. And the whole of the Spanish league know about him. He's made some really good saves. He's got all the attributes. He's good distribution. He's got command of the area, being so tall as well. Makes fantastic saves, just like De Gea does as well. Obviously, he's a young prospect. But he's playing first team football. He played 14 games against Kluisens in the Valencia team this year, so that's not too bad. Obviously, we don't really know that much about him, but clearly, do you think, Bath Time, that Erik Ten Hag has singled him out and he fits his criteria, ticking all the boxes?
No. I think that this is an Amad Diallo signing. I've for a long time, I have had a theory that United have looked at the Chelsea loan system, how lucrative it is, how it allows them to generate huge amounts of money. And I think that Amad Diallo, Palestre, and this guy are probably being signed along those lines. I don't think that we're going to bring this goalkeeper in to replace De Gea. If we're going to go and replace De Gea, there are far more obvious candidates, such as Sanchez, Brighton. I think that Henderson would probably be more likely to play as a first-team goalkeeper than Dash or whatever he's called. I don't even know if this is an Erik Ten Hag signing. When you think he's come into the club and he's pointed out this random Valencia backup goalkeeper. This seems more to me to be a result of sort of data-driven scouting in our club, as opposed to Ten Hag saying, "Do you know what? 6 months ago, I needed a goalkeeper, and it was between this guy and getting Dean Henderson in on loan." So this signing doesn't really make any sense to me with the limited budget that we have. And with the huge surgery that needs to be done on the club, I don't see this guy replacing De Gea, and I don't understand it. And to be honest, I don't believe it.
But he's 21 years old. He's not going to replace him straight away. I take it. He's going to be. There's a minimum fee release of 20. They're saying they could get him for 13 mil. What do you think about that, Petty? What do you think about identifying a goalkeeper so early on in the transfer?
Listen, it's like Bath Time just alluded to then. For me personally, if the manager wants him, Erik Ten Hag, and he's sat down and said, "Listen, he's the goalkeeper I want," I'm on that train with him, even though I don't really know too much about him. But if it's another one of those data-driven and we've looked at statistics and is this, because it says on, I've got it here, he's ranked 8th for crosses stopped and De Gea's ranked 21st. So it's obviously better there for stopping the crosses and getting there when the ball's coming in. But at the end of the day, if the main man doesn't want him, Erik ten Hag, and he's not his signing, I just wouldn't go near it until he's been given the green light to carry on with the signing, in my opinion, because I'm sick of buying players who the managers don't want. And then if it fails, what we're going to do with him? You know what I mean? He's obviously going to start kicking up a fuss, and is that going to cause more issues later on in down the line? So for me at the moment, I just stick with De Gea unless Erik ten Hag wants this man. And if he wants the man, let's go and get him and pay installments like we normally do.
So,
you know what, Petty? What do you know?
Monday?
Yeah, go on, jump in.
Did you just say that David De Gea was ranked 21st for?
This is what it said on one of some of the. I can't remember the website I went on, and
is that in the Premier League?
I don't know. I'm not too sure. I think that's out of everybody. I think because it was saying this guy, what's his name? I can't pronounce his name. Was ranked 8th. Dash, yeah, I'll call him
Mamardashvili.
Mamardashvili, and De Gea was ranked 21st. I'd do like a comparison.
I think that means he's ranked 21st in the Premier League, and it's slipped my mind how many teams there are in the Premier League. But
20.
Does that mean that if he's ranked 21st, that means that there's a reserve goalkeeper that collects more crosses than De Gea does? That is an amazing stat. I cannot believe what I'm hearing. So that's why I wanted to interrupt.
Hold on,
Yeah.
Do you agree that he's poor claiming crosses, though?
Yeah, of course I do.
That's to suggest that he is.
Oh, he's. I mean, like his first game, right? I can't remember who it was against, but like he had half the team coming out telling him how to punch the ball. And I remember watching like Ronaldo, I can't remember who it was against, coming out and showing him how to punch the ball 20 years later or whatever it was. And the thing is that like it's collecting crosses is vitally important, especially when you have like Wan-Bissaka and Lindelof, who both lose a lot of aerial duels. I think we have to give De Gea a chance. Like he's earned that. He's earned like give him a couple of months or a season to learn how to do it. But I don't think he's out of the Spanish team. Like he's out of the Spanish squad. Yeah. I don't think that a leopard changes its spots, and I think that football's left him behind. And
just going back to the data method that's used to get transfers. I mean, that was done with Leicester getting Mahrez and Kante as well from lower leagues or lesser known players. So are you guys saying you don't support the data analysis in sort of identifying good players?
First off, Mahrez wasn't signed off data. They went to watch another player and they saw Mahrez.
Oh yes,
and
yeah,
said
that's
that
right.
We got to get
Kante,
it.
You're right there. You're right. Yeah.
I'm a big fan of data. Like I like statistics. I like data. It's a very cost efficient way of like sorting through huge amounts of players. And in modern football, my understanding is that a lot of scouting is outsourced to databases. And the way it works is you sort of like it would be, I don't know, and I put this like Football Manager or FIFA or something like that. You look at key attributes and you filter by it and you make a short list and then you send your scouts to go and watch them.
Yeah.
And I think that's a really sensible, cost efficient way of doing things. Like as opposed to the other way that it works is Jose used to do this all the time, is you go to an agent and you say I need a left back, a right back and a centre back. And then like you will get, I think when he did it at Real, he got Di Maria, Pepe and Royston Drenthe. Like if anyone remembers him.
Yeah.
Like he looked like a little Edgar Davids.
Yeah,
he was a left back.
He had a good tournament when they beat England, didn't they? In the under-19s final, he was the player of the tournament. I think he got rave reviews from that for Holland.
Never trust a fullback in international football. They always look far better than they are, like Denzel Dumfries and Royston Drenthe, who ended up at Everton. But I'm a bigger fan of us using data to go and identify players and then scout them, as opposed to just asking agents, who have you got, who's available, stuff like that. So I like data. But Petty, you're not a fan?
Well, no, I do. I'm a bit of a data geek as it is myself, because I love Football Manager and things like that. And obviously FPL, you look at a lot of data as well, Fantasy Premier League. But the thing is with data, what sort of gets on my nerves at United, it's the people who are looking at the data. And they've made so many wrong decisions over the years. I just don't trust it. Even if it's airplane sailing in your face with highlights going through it, I still don't trust them. They'll still say, "Oh, we'll go here because we can save $1 million or $2 million." But whereas at Leicester, they seem to know what they're doing with data. Whereas at United, they just scare me. They do. They honestly, they frighten me when they look at spreadsheets and data and stuff. If I'm being honest with you.
So you're not against it in principle. It's just the people that we have at the club.
Just the people, just the people, yeah.
I think you're right there. The process of actually getting the data and then going to watch them for your own eye, doing the eye test as well. I think that is vital, definitely. And Leicester, I singled them out because they've done marvelous in the last 5-10 years in picking out players who can sort of automatically fit in and play in the Premiership. And players that are coming from lower leagues or lesser known players. I'm not saying we have to do that, but I think we, as a big club, we always felt that we had to get players with a big name or players that are established, or wait for players to get signed for second-rate clubs before you sign them for bigger money. Why not go for them immediately now and then try to develop players? Because granted, do you guys both think that we haven't really been developing players over the last few years at Manchester United?
I mean, the only one is, like, for some reason you're not allowed to say his name. I don't know why, but is our old number 11. Like, I'm gonna say it. Greenwood was developing as a footballer. He apparently he was a striker in the youth team, and he became like a right winger. I think he was getting there. Like, there was obviously issues with Ronaldo, but I think that his development appeared to be the catalyst appeared to be Cavani, who seemed to be the one that was coaching him the most. But no, we've seen no progress from any player at United, with maybe the exception of Elanga. But I don't watch the youth team, so I don't know how good he was. But yeah, I mean, the standard of coaching since I don't know, probably since Mourinho has been. It sounds like it's been below par.
Seen any evidence for good development, Petty? Or anything?
I totally agree. It was obviously Harold number 11 stands out the most from when he was in the youth team to he was building and building and building even into the first team. But I do think this is where we need to get it right now, because there's a couple of gems in our youth team at the moment in time, like Kobe Mainu and Reece Bennett and them boys. And I think they could be the next couple of players, Hannibal as well, Shoretire. We need people in now to coach them and to show them the Man United way. And this is where I hope Erik ten Hag can get a brand of football from the first team, down to the youth team, down to the kids, and even to the ladies team, even though that's totally different. Get a brand of football where they all play it, they're learning it from a young age, and then when they get to the top, it's still the same brand of football they've been getting taught since they was 9, 10, 11, and they can build and build and build. And that's what I think's not helped them at this moment in time, with different managers, different methods, not having the right coaches, and then to just end up coming in the first team and looking lost, like Brandon Williams and players like that, which I feel sorry for them.
Can I say to you guys, so we're talking about Marmadashvili. Can we all have an assignment, please? Your homework is to go and check him out. And next week, we'll come back and see what we think, because we've got the data. Now we've got to go and do the eye test, guys. So both of you, if you wouldn't mind, just do a little assignment on, I'm going to say his name again, Marmadashvili Valencia, because I'm certainly going to be looking out for him now, see what he's like. So there's 16 people watching at the moment. Can you all press the like button for us, please? And also, don't forget, if you want to become a member of the Man United Agenda, Bemba. Yeah. You don't want to sign in. Just remember, here we have a list of things you can do. So just, if you don't mind, there's options there. Feel free if you'd like to have a look. Thank you very much. Just want to go through a few comments as well, if you don't mind, guys. Yeah. Say hi to, is this your man? Whose man's is this? Rio Burns, 99. He says, yes, Pitty. Thomas Mitchell, whose man's is this? Petty again. Got Paddy now. It's Paddy saying about the goalkeepers. We do need to look at the goalkeeper situation. Let's see. I think he will replace him. Talking about our guy once again. Whose man's is this? He's saying yes, Callum. It's Z Ghosty Z or whatever.
TikTok.
I can't pronounce his name. Denver Claire as well. Whose man's is this?
They're all in. They've all come over. All subscribe.
I want to say hi to Andrew Williams. He's saying De Gea is a litmus test for me. Talking about himself. If you think he is any significant part of the problem, then I automatically tune out every other option you have. Thanks for making it easy for me. Okay, thank you.
Shout out to Andrew.
Big up, Andrew.
I bet he's still in the comments, even if he's tuned out. Yeah.
Rio is saying De Gea has a good game, but then he has some games he'll be shocking. Bill Badger saying Stettenberg in goal for Ajax this season, and some other 38-year-old. De Gea is better than both of them. He will be fine. Paddy said, I watched the games with De Gea. In the end, he didn't trust the buffoons in front of him. I watched it firsthand because he goes to the games, Paddy does. Z Ghost says, De Gea is class. He just needs to learn how to pass around the back more with more composure. That's exactly what we want. Paddy saying, Henderson, no-go. No, not got the standard for this club. Talking about Dean Henderson. Zigo saying, while I admit he's below average on the ball, talking about De Gea, you could have a prime Zidane in goal. He would still be passing. He would still pass. He would be still passing to a back four or a CDM pair who couldn't pass water and don't move. That's interesting. That I want to say hi to Rich Sports. He's asking, but if bath time fall out with Andrew, Andrew, yeah.
Don't fall out with anyone. It's just opinions on football. It's not that deep.
Andrew saying fundamentally, your goalkeeper job is not to supplement our rank average technical players. It's to keep the ball out of our net. Eddie's in the house. Hi, Eddie. Saying, wow, 50-50 on the poll. The game distribution has been bad most of the time. He will have some work to do. So obviously, guys, if you don't mind, there's a poll going out there asking whether De Gea can suit. Does he suit Erik ten Hag's new philosophy, style of football? It's a garbage stat. I think what stat was he talking about, Andrew? The 21, I think 21.
Yeah.
Rich Sport is saying David De Gea is very good at what he has always been good at, which is shot stopping. I imagine, is that Rich? Bill Baggio saying we ain't even started under Ten Hag and we're looking for problems before we even kick the ball. Rich Sports again is saying so many stats don't always help. I agree with using them as a screening filter maybe, but you have to check out the play yourself. Exactly what Bath Time and Petty was saying. Yeah, on the same page there. Eddie's responded to Paddy saying, yeah, De Gea deserves the plaudits, but time for the new guard. Possession and proper distribution is what he wants. And just want to say hi to Shopping Solutions. Maybe De Gea can be coached and become a modern day goalkeeper. The current De Gea is way off the modern keepers. So has a learning curve for him? Do you think he could change what he's got at the moment? 25 likes. Press the like button, please, if you don't mind, guys. And Box is in the house finally. He says, Mama Dashvili can kick the ball and move off line once a year. Which is already an upgrade on De Gea. Oh, God. Brilliant. Quickly, before we move on to the next subject, can De Gea be coached to deliver what Ten Hag wants? Start with you, Petty.
Listen, I'm not going to sit here and say you can't, because obviously he's a professional footballer, he's an athlete at the end of the day, but I want to sit on the fence and say I don't know. Listen, I'm going to give him a year. I'll give him till this time next season, and then we're bound to find out. Me personally, I don't think he can, but I'd like there to be a little hope. I just think De Gea is, I don't want to say he's too old, because he's certainly not too old, but he has his style of play, doesn't he? It's the way he plays, and honestly, I think for me now, it would be best for De Gea maybe next year to go and find a team what suits his style of goalkeeping, maybe in the Italian league or somewhere like that, whereas the Premier League, it's all about fast pace, coming out and getting involved with the build up. I just don't think De Gea's got that in his locker personally, but I love De Gea. I will put that out there. I do love David De Gea.
Bath time. Can the Leopards change his spots?
No, but so I think everyone knows that I'm at the forefront of the anti-David De Gea movement. and you can all come and join me in my bath. There's room for everyone. But the thing, all right. So what can De Gea be coached on? Realistically, it's the sort of mental side of it. Like, there's nothing physically stopping him from coming out of his area. There's nothing physically stopping him from coming and getting crosses. Like, I think I said a couple of weeks ago that I'd noticed his starting positions had become slightly more aggressive. But the issue with that is it was showing off his technique with crosses, with passes, with even basic things like the body shape when he controls the ball. And those things, I think at the age of 29, it's very, very unlikely that you're gonna be coached. I can't think of many players that have had a huge weakness in their game, a technical weakness, and have managed to address it like in a preseason. So I think that hopefully next year, what we will see is we'll see De Gea get his chance, and we'll see him putting himself into situations that require a bit of courage. And courage is never something I've associated with De Gea.
Can I just add as well, here at the Man United Agenda, we have our own sort of scouting system as well. And one of our reliable sources watched De Gea the other day. And here's a quote from him. It says, "Yo, Omondi, you're so wrong about De Gea. He was coming off his line and clearing up balls. He was shouting as well. You always say he's mute, but he's not. So, so shut up in future." That's a direct quote from one of our sources. And that would be Errol, by the way. Errol went to the game, if you didn't know. So if you see the blog, Errol done a really good vlog about going to the Crystal Palace game. But he did come back and say he was watching De Gea, and he's really surprised because he was coming off his line, apparently, and he was very vocal. He was organising the defence. Which, in first-hand view, some things we might not see from the television screen. So that's interesting. That. Just want to go through a couple more things here. Quick question we can just pan out quickly from Stumpy. He says, "Do you think our new manager will last, or will he be Eric 10 months?" That's down to the fans, isn't it, really?
He better last.
Yeah. And Guna Gumza, how you doing, Gumza? Gumza does really good tactical breakdowns. He's from the Army TV. Unfortunately, they didn't make it to the Champions League this year, but they fought all the way to the line. He says De Gea is going to get the Joe Hart treatment and Leno treatment, which means he's going to be edged out for not being good enough. A bit like they focused on Ramsdale, didn't he? Because Ramsdale fitted what Arteta wanted, which Leno obviously didn't have. So that's a good point. And Shopping Solutions says De Gea is too old. Is not too old. Remember what happened with Van der Sar. So we're going to move on. There's a second thing we're going to talk about. Just take a break, guys. Take a little halftime breather. Because our next subject, and breathe. Yeah. Our next subject is this. There's been news about our right back position. Obviously, everyone knows we spend a lot of money on Wan-Bissaka. There's issues there, similar to what De Gea is having with a new manager. Maybe he's had the Zoom call. Maybe he's been overlooked. But the guy at Norwich, Max Aaron, hasn't been signed. I mean, who's the guy that they had a left back that was signed by Newcastle a few years ago? And I thought, why are they snapping up all their best players? And Max Aaron's is not being snapped up at all. It's interesting that. But Max Aaron's is on our radar apparently, and they're talking about swap deal for Ethan Laird. Now Laird's been playing a lot of Championship football. He was at MK Dons season before. Last season he spent a period of time at Swansea, played really well in their system, a lot of possession-based football. He had 20 games for them until Man United, for some reason, brought him back and sent him to Bournemouth instead, where he had 6 games, which is a bit surprising. So everyone was looking forward to Laird coming back and maybe getting an opportunity in the squad at right back. So what we're going to talk about now is Max Aaron's. Here's some stats on him, what you know about him, what sort of player he is, and also about Laird as well. Would that be a good deal? A swap deal in some sense, or a swap deal of money? And do you think Max Aaron's can make it in the Premiership for Manchester United? Bath time.
Yeah, right. And to be very honest, I have never ever seen Max Aaron's play, which I know is extremely helpful. But I've had a little look at his stats today. His stats do not impress me. They're very, very similar to Aaron Wan-Bissaka's, where like he does a lot of blocks, he does a lot of clearances. He is absolutely awful at aerial duels, and he's quite good at carrying and dribbling the ball, but he doesn't really do anything with it. and that's in the Championship, right? So first of all, that puts me off him. The second reason that I'm put off him is that this is not the sort of profile of player that I was expecting. A sort of below average Championship right back. We've been linked with him, I think, on and off for about 2 years. He's a name that I've been hearing for a while. So the third thing is, this makes me think, I can't think that Erik ten Hag has been sitting like in his big armchair in Holland going, do you know what I need? I need a below average Championship right back to really push, my team on. So I think that this is more like legacy scouting, where they've sort of like come to him and said, look, we like this player, we've identified him. What do you think? And I don't know what he thinks, but for me, this is a mistake to go for Max Aarons. He is not going to push us. He's not going to get us 6, 9, 12 more points, is he? Like, I don't understand the signings that we're being linked with, because money, even though if we have 150 million, money is still tight because we need 6 signings. Like, we need 6 signings, but we could do with 8 signings. So why are we looking at Max Aarons? Like, I'm pretty like Lamptey skeptical, but he would be a better signing than Max Aarons. This is absolute nonsense for me, and I hope it's agent talk to get him a new contract or something. It's just, it's an utter nonsense. Petty, what?
Mate, do you know what? I absolutely agree with everything you've said. Everything. I've even got on my notes here, and someone put it in the comments. What other top 6 team? Chelsea, Liverpool, who else? Arsenal, even. Who would any of them go for Max Aarons? No. So I don't see why we'd personally want to go for him. And another thing is, and I know it's not his fault, I'm not blaming him, but he's been in a relegated team twice. Is that what we're looking at now? I know obviously Andy Robertson, he came from a relegated team and whatnot, but that was totally different. You look at his stats. You look at Max Aarons here, he's got 0.06 per night expected assists. Like you said, he doesn't do anything when he's got the ball. He looks, he cuts in. Do you know what I mean? He likes to pass backwards and sideways. So to be fair, he'd fit in at the Manchester United team we've just had this season. Yeah. But this new Manchester United, which we'll hopefully build in and Erik ten Hag wants, where the fullbacks are acting like wingers in a sense, I don't see it. Honestly, do not see Max Aarons at Manchester United. The only thing I can see is obviously a client of Rio Ferdinand, isn't there? So I don't know if Rio's in there talking to someone. I don't know.
Can I add? This is a young player who's come from Luton Town and playing for Norwich City. He's been their best player for the last couple of seasons. He's been sought after, like you said, from big clubs. They've all had a look at him. He plays. I've watched him at under 21s level as well. He's regularly in the squad there for England under 21s. Unfortunately, he's playing for Norwich, and he's not really going to shine or get the plaudits, And they're always going to be on the back foot. They've conceded goals. They're bottom of the league as well. But if you're talking about a possession-based team, you were saying there about an attacking team. They had the Moroccan guy at Ajax recently. His attributes going forward, could get past the halfway line, comfortable on the ball, had pace to get past players, could contribute to assists and that kind of thing. I think there is a player there in that Max Aarons. I think that's where his strengths are. Maybe his weaknesses would be defending, in my opinion, from what I've seen. Obviously, I'm not an expert on him, but for what I've seen, I know that he raves forward. He's very good like that. But then I think there's very similar attributes to Laird. I think he's got similar attributes. When you see him at Swansea last year, he was balling it out. He was actually playing in a back five and getting really high at the pitch and really contributing to their team a lot. He's got pace. He's a smaller guy. He's tenacious. He gets forward. And he's a threat, and he creates a lot of width for the side as well. So I think maybe you guys, there's a question mark about Max Aarons, but I think we have to explore that a bit deeper, a bit like the goalkeeper, because it's a bit of the unknown. And I think now's the time to really sort of dig deeper and find out what's really going on with Aarons. I know you say about the stats, but I think the stats can lie, as your one said earlier about the goal to Gea. But stats are stats. But,
of course,
I would actually scratch the surface and have a closer look at Max Aarons, because I think there's a player there. Just whether he can make the step up to Man United, I'm unsure of.
Yeah. His contract's till 2024, isn't it? So Listen, how much would you say personally? Do you think we're going for Max Adams 25? Would it be more
Swap deal.
or? So it'll just be a straight swap deal. Is that
No. Swap with money, I imagine. But just try to
give it.
Yeah.
See, I rate Ethan Laird. He's just been unlucky with a couple of injuries, hasn't he, in his career? Which that's the only question mark for me. He's had, I think, 2 or 3 big injuries at a young age. So is that going to stagnate his progression? Whereas obviously Max Adams, he does seem to be fit all the time. That is a bonus in a way, isn't it? Really, if we're thinking positive on the Max Adams story.
Bath time.
Yeah, for me, like I've got to get to this heresy that I've just heard from you. Stats don't lie. Stats are facts. They can be used in misleading ways, but they are facts, right? And they might not tell the full story, or might tell half the story, or whatever. But I mean, for me, I think I'd take Aarons over Ethan Laird because Ethan Laird hasn't really cut it in the Championship. Like, I know he's one of us and he's a youth team member and stuff, but at least Max Aarons has played a full season in the Premier League, so that's a plus on him. But Omondi, from what you've sort of seen of like teams like the teams we're competing with, like Tottenham, Chelsea, and Arsenal, what do we need from our right back, and what can Aarons bring to it?
Okay, so if you ask me a question, what I think we've had problems recently is that we can't keep the ball. If we got a team that can start keeping the ball and have more possession and more control over games, which is the goal, especially in the opposition half, then he can provide a lot of width. And not just that, a lot of drive as well. So when we do distribute the ball to him, he can drive past players. He's got the pace to get in behind. He can whip in crosses. He can offer a lot more a threat going forward. Something we wanted Delo to do, but we haven't really seen the best Delo in that sort of respect. So I think that's what I think he can provide. And a lot of width as well. Obviously, with the overlap, that kind of thing. These guys can always be a threat, especially in this system. We look at the top teams in the Premiership at the moment. They've got fullbacks that really provide a lot to the game and contribute so much to the team winning and the shape of the team as well. So I think I would first of all say our current fullbacks maybe are not delivering, especially at right back. That's why it's been identified. And secondly, saying with the money and the priority of transfers we have to buy, maybe it would be worth buying someone who maybe been overlooked, and we could coach, because it's all about now, where we were saying earlier, we can't develop players. I think now give the manager a chance to develop players and take players that, like he's taking young players at Ajax and develop them, take players like a young player like Max Aarons, who's still fresh and still wide-eyed and would love a move to Man United. He's already been quoted that Norwich want to let him go. They realise they can't keep him, and develop him rather than getting someone who's older or trying to work with Wan-Bissaka, who's not, maybe lost his confidence and all that kind of thing. I think he would come into the club and really be coached to become the player that we desire. A bit like Petty gave example about Andy Robertson. I never saw the player in Andy Robertson that he is today. So I think that comes from good coaching and obviously him having that character, because he's got the character as well. I don't know what Max Aarons' character is like, but I think that's why I'm saying we need to dig deeper. I think he could contribute a lot to our side based on possession, keeping more of the ball, providing a bit more width and giving a threat to forcing their fullbacks or defenders back in that respect.
That right-hand side is rubbish, isn't it? It is like you see in games, they're always trying to hit the ball over to the left, and it's like we need both sides to work the same function at the same time.
I have a theory on that, on why we don't attack down the right, and it's an incredibly boring theory about something. It's incredibly boring. It's called rest defense, and I think that if we attack on the right-hand side, it leaves Maguire more open for his lack of pace, and I would expect that under Erik ten Hag, where I understand you've seen a lot of his Ajax games. I've seen 20 minutes of Ajax, but I watched it for 3.5 hours to try and get an understanding of what he was doing. I think that what we will see from a right back next season is we will see an inverted right back, not really providing any width, that is there as a sort of like a third centre back. And to go to some of Monday's points, when you were chatting away there, I had a quick look at, I compared Max Aarons with Brandon Williams and the stats, and they're almost identical. do you think Brandon Williams is good enough to play for Manchester United? Like regularly?
No.
I would say that judging from like the performances that Brandon Williams and Max Aarons have put in, they're a similar profile and quality of player.
Petty, I don't know if you agree with this, but I think playing for Norwich, when you're not going to have possession of the ball, you're going to be in the back foot a lot. You're going to come up against the top and not be supported in that respect by coming against, like we were coming up against SHAH the other day. I mean, for playing for Norwich, how's your morale going to be when you want to be a marauding fullback and then suddenly you're always on the back foot, or you're playing, got teammates around you not cutting it? I don't know if you guys have played in teams that have been really poor. It's demoralising.
Yes. Normally because of me.
But you know, Williams plays for Norwich. OMONDI.
Yeah,
it's a fair comparison because they both play. They've both produced the same sort of stats at the same club. So if you were looking at Norwich, and you look at Williams and Aarons, there's nothing really to choose between them. And you've decided that Williams isn't good enough. And Max Aarons, I'll tell you one thing that's really put me off him from in the comments. I just can't imagine a serious football player would have Rio Ferdinand as their agent. That instantly puts me off. Like, Rio's a media personality, and like we all love him, but he was running around murking people like 10 years ago.
You've been murked.
Yeah, like I just that puts me off him. That Rio is his agent, and I'm sorry, Rio, if you're watching, and I'm sure you are. But
I hope he is.
I'm not a fan of that, and I also like, as much OMONDI as you, I think you rate Max Aarons, and that's fine.
Yeah.
How much input do you think Ten Hag has had into Max Aarons? Do you think he wants him?
No, I think what he's maybe looking for, like you're saying, if he plays the inverted wing back kind of thing, someone's comfortable on the ball, someone's got good technique, comfortable on the ball, fits the age bracket as well, English, experience in the Premier League, all these things, he ticks the boxes. So I think in that respect, he can do the job. He's playing.
What about aerial duels?
That's a different side of the game, I think.
Not if you're inverted.
I'm talking about like his attacking style of the game on composure on the ball. If you look at the Ajax model, they usually physicality and things like that is second rate to the technique. I think that they look at attributes like that first rather than that thing, the physical side of things. Those things they can try to work on to improve. So he is not the biggest guy, and I can imagine he would be targeted on the back post like Wan-Bissaka, who I thought would be a lot better than he is at that. So yeah, you do make a valid point, but I think when you're coming from Ajax, it's all about technique. These are the things you look at first, and then you can develop. Because of his age as well, you can get him on the weights or take him down the gym or doing some road work with you every morning on your 45-minute run. Bath time. Yeah.
but I mean, we thought this about Aaron Wan-Bissaka, and I know everyone laughs at the Aaron Wan-Bissaka signing because we paid too much money for him, but in some ways it made a lot of sense where he was an ex-winger. Like, so you assumed he had like technical abilities, who was brilliant at one-on-one defending, and the rest of the sort of defending of sort of like where to be at the back post, when to push up, when to tuck in, all that can be coached by elite coaches. That all made sense. I think that the Wan-Bissaka we got from Palace is a better right back and a better prospect than Max Aarons is. Max Aarons has not stood out at Norwich. Wan-Bissaka stood out at Palace, and that's the level we're looking at. Like, we've got to make better signings than Aaron Wan-Bissaka. And from what I see in Max Aarons, and I'm just going off the stats I look at, he doesn't do the stuff that we need him to do. All he does is progress the ball with carries, and that's not what we need.
Petty, do you want to have the final word on Max Aarons and before we go into the comments, please?
Yeah. So for me, obviously, listen, when you're speaking about him, I'm sort of like getting it, and I'm like, ooh, maybe this. But then, obviously, when I'm in reality, I'm thinking, so I'm sort of on the fence here. I don't want him, but then I think I would have him. But then you got to think about it. I don't think none of the top 6 teams or 5 teams, obviously, include putting ourselves in there, would be interested. So for me, I just try and stay clear and get Timber myself because he can play centre half and right back, and he's very good at both positions. So for me, it's Timber. He's the person I want.
Can we promise, guys, that we're going to have a closer look at Max Aarons?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, brilliant. Just to add, I'm just going to go through the comments quickly. There's something else I wanted to add for any other business. Boxer saying Max Aarons, obviously we heard this, is Rio Ferdinand's client, agent. Williams is saying Aarons is decent, watched him quite a lot. He wouldn't be going to Chelsea, City, Liverpool, to be fair, as you were just saying, Petty. He's saying, is that why Rio never slags off the Glazers? Talking about Max Aarons. Eddie's saying, no. Dawn Penn, no relegated players. Every time I see him on Match of Day, he's getting skinned at fullback. This is a eyewitness from Eddie. Paddy saying Max Aarons, nah, can't see Ten Hag going in for him. Plus, he was part of the Titanic that went down. I want to say hi to Emma Kay. I want to say hi to Emma. How you doing, Emma? She's saying Ten Hag should look at our own youthlings before looking at others. Walker Peters, question mark by Bill Badger.
As well.
The Southampton from Chelsea.
I take him.
Yeah.
Emma Kay saying at Bill Badger responded to him. He's probably going to do it. He's not dumb. If we can save money there, we can spend money elsewhere. Yes, says Andrew Williams. Laird and Aarons is a good comparison. Watch Laird every game at Swansea. This is from Andrew. And Williams is a Welsh name, isn't it? So
he's a Swansea fan.
Oh, right. Okay, brilliant. And he's very impressive going forward. So, yeah, that's what I think when he had his best spell at Swansea. Baggio's saying, exactly, Emma, we all know he has come from one of the most famous clubs who blood youth, and now he's coming to the other. I agree. I think he will use our own before going into the transfer market. Andrew Williams saying he's more of a wing back than a right back, talking about Laird. Ethan Laird was Swansea's best player at the first half of the season. He went to a team who wouldn't play him in Bournemouth. Rio Burns is saying, I think Max Aarons will be a class player, just needs to work on by a good manager. I think should get him before anyone else does and get working with him. Andrew says he agreed. Surprised Robson took off at Liverpool. Matthew Bassett saying Romano, put out a show earlier talking about 5 players to be discussed with Manchester United. TalkMU's got something to say quickly. 2 more comments here. This is pure optimism from the media and others trying to shine a light. Opportunism, sorry, from the media. Nice word, TalkMU. And trying to shine a light. I'm impressed. Trying to shine a light on the prospects for Eric to contemplate. I don't think this is being a direct target by Ten Hag. And finally, Newcastle fan 98. How you doing? Says, I think we will get conference. I really do. We were there for 7 points off. We were 7 points off it this season. Not a bad start. And she want to say finally hi to Tayyab Ali. We should get Ericsson on a free. That's Christian Eriksen. SHAH saying the only right back that would suit Ten Hag and for us would be Matthew Cash, Reece James type of player. Remember, we have to compete with likes of Walker, Cancelo, and Rafinha. And finally, Jack Grealish said Mahrez shouldn't have played of Sunday as he likes Almiron, sorry, the Newcastle guy. So, yeah, we're going to go to any other business now. Anyone in the comments, please press the like button if you don't mind. Any other business, guys? Anything else to say? We're going to wind down. We've got 5 minutes just to discuss any other news. You got your ear to the ground. What's going on? You heard it on the grapevine or whatever. Petty, bath time, any news going around? You want to just have a little 5 minutes?
There's talk today, isn't there? Obviously, yesterday it was Torres, the centre back. Is it Pau Torres from Valencia? Is it Valencia? Villarreal, sorry. Yeah. It was his agents or whatever representatives was coming into Manchester for a chat. And then today, I think a Dutch journalist, I've seen it at the European lad on Twitter, that Timber, they're in talks with United. So there's definitely something going on with a centre back. I think it's either going to be one or the other out of them 2. And to be honest with you, I'd love Timber at United and I'd love Pau Torres. So I'll be an happy chappy either way if we can just get one of them in the door and do it quick.
Yeah, I'm a Pau Torres fan as well. He looks very gettable to me with Villarreal are not in the Champions League. Spanish clubs don't tend to have a lot of money.
Didn't even know that. Did they not qualify? No.
No, and the thing is he's performed well in Europe. I think he's the Spanish starting centre back, and I know there's a lot of stuff about high lines and things, but Spain do play with a high line. He's fast enough to play in a high line, and he's very good on the ball. My one issue with all of this at the moment is that I feel that there's a huge amount of legacy scouting going on. Pau Torres is a player that we were linked to last summer. Max Aarons is a player that we were linked to last summer. Like, where is the fresh blood, the new ideas coming in? It makes me feel that what's happened is we've agreed with agents over the last 18 months a deal, and the agents have told us a price. And at the moment, we're sort of saying to Ten Hag, like, look, Pau Torres, we can afford him. Like, we know his wages. We can get this deal done over a week. Do you want him? And I don't know if that's the right way to go about things. I'd much prefer, like, Ten Hag has seen us play live. He understands what that circus is doing out on that pitch, right? it's absolutely crazy. But I think, what if I were him, the first thing that I would be doing is speaking to the leadership team in the squad of Bruno, Ronaldo, Shaw, De Gea, Maguire, and like identifying what the issues are within the squad, like you know, like sort of how they feel and stuff like that. And you know, is Pogba is that gonna be good fun? Like, or what kind of characters we need in the dressing room, where we need to focus it. I don't like this. You know what? We can get Pau Torres. He's an easy signing. Do you want him? I'm not sure that this is the way to be going. I'd much prefer an audit of who's ready from the youth team, because Garnacho, I think he looks ready. Hannibal, 100% is not ready.
He's short-headed at the moment,
I like violence. I've talked about this before. I like violence on the football pitch. It's an important
I'm the
part
same.
of football. Yeah, and it's fun, isn't it? I like
Roy Keane and Vinnie Jones. I love them types of players. I'm the same.
Yeah, I just love people I love blood on my boots. I think that, like, the thing about, like, Hannibal is he's a creative attacking player that is being praised more for having an inability to control himself more than the ability to control a football match. So what I would really like us to do is work out what we need instead of go into, like, deals that we can do. Because this is how we've got in problems in the past. I don't know, Amondi. What do you think? Am I being too negative?
Yes, I think you are. Pau Torres, I'm here to disagree with you. Funny, people laughing in the comments as well. I think it's funny. Pau Torres, I know we looked at him before. I think he's like what they call it, the wish. What's that thing? The wish Laporte, left-footed, graceful, plays with his head up. Like how he plays, comfortable on the ball. Just don't know whether he can transition into the Premiership with, it takes, especially for a centre back. I mean, it's very vulnerable position. You can see the penalties you get if you're not up for it. Do you understand what I'm saying? So obviously, I don't know about his character. I don't know what his temperament's like, but he's obviously played for a great team. A team that's got a lot of harmony in Villarreal, and they're really united and they play together, all for one for all, that kind of thing. That's what's got them far, I believe, more so than talent, and they're very organised as well. So I think if he came in, if he's identified as a player for us, I think if he plays in a possession-based team, like with Spain, you said, for example, he's number one for Spain now. If he plays in a possession-based team, I think he'd do really well, because Villarreal also, they can keep the ball, they're comfortable on the ball, and they know what they're doing. But if he's having to sort of run back and doing all the donkey work and the dirty work, like you were saying, and getting dirty, I haven't seen him, obviously, because he's never really played for teams that are really on the low like that are getting battered.
Yes, he has.
Yeah. Who's that then?
Spanish national team.
They're getting battered?
Sorry?
They've been getting battered?
No, like, I'm sorry. I mean, like, he's played. What I mean, right, is that he's played in a low block team. Villarreal. We've seen that, and we've seen them be pretty successful. Like, I know that they have
everything's in front of him. Everything's in front of him. He's not getting roughed up. He's protected. He's protected with the unit, with the shape. In that respect.
But he's also played for Spain, which were like I thought that they probably were the best team in the Euros, to be honest.
Yeah. Oh,
and
my
I expect them to win
game
the World
against
Cup.
Italy. Amazing.
Yeah, and they played a very, very high line, and a lot of the time, I know it sounds crazy, but it's actually true that Torres was having to look after Chiellini because Chiellini was playing very, very high up the pitch. As I know it sounds mad, it did happen as an inverted left back, and he was looking for the space in behind. For crosses, obviously not to run in, but to be a physical presence. And the fact that Pau Torres has played in both these kind of teams successfully, or at least to a semi-final, I think that to me suggests that he does have the minerals and the flexibility to come and play in the league, much more so than someone like Diaz had when he moved to City, or Laporte had when he moved to City, or even Van Dijk when he moved to Liverpool. I think Pau Torres would be a good signing, and probably a more sensible signing than Timber, to be honest.
That's actually
Timber's an
interesting,
exciting
because everyone wants Timber, don't? Yeah.
Timber's exciting, and he's sexy, and Timber might represent the next evolution of the centre back, in terms of not being physically dominant, but brilliant on the ball, great vision, like a sort of Trent Alexander-Arnold centre back.
Yeah.
But it might be too soon for him because he's 20, I believe.
Yeah, he's 20. Yeah.
And I think that's the signing that would excite most people. But I think Pau Torres is the more sensible signing because he's experienced. We know what we're getting from him. He's also a left footer. So if you're looking for a replacement for Maguire, Pau Torres is far more likely to replace Maguire than Timber is. And whilst there are question marks about him, there's huge question mark. I mean, Timber and Dalot, or Timber and Wan-Bissaka, or whatever, they're all gonna get targeted. You're gonna have a queue of players trying to test Timber, and I don't know if he can deal with that. So if we sign Timber, you've got to assume that we're going to have to get him on special diets and get him super caffeinated and all that kind of stuff. And he's not going to step in
get an inhaler.
Exactly. Get him on that asthma grind. And whereas Pau Torres, he could come in and he can improve the team straight away. I don't know if Timber can.
Just quickly, a few comments about this as well. So we've got SHAH talking about we have no defenders really. Mendy, Zabi both had inconsistent loan spells. Fish and others not developed enough to compete with Premier League demands. He's talking to you, Bath Time. Emma's saying we are going to see some late signings because Ten Hag is going to look at what we've got already before we buy. Bill Baggio saying here, I don't really rate Pau Torres, but he has games and experience under his belt. He ain't one season wonder though. Pau Torres is good on the ball, but physically gets bullied, says Andrew Williams. And finally, Andrew Williams saying the two centre backs we linked with Timber and Pau Torres have physicality question marks on both. Bill Baggio saying watching Roma at the moment, and Mancini looks half decent at centre back as well. Good luck to Chris Smalling as well. Any other news, guys, before we lock it down?
The season's over.
Oh, sorry, I forgot to add. Sorry, I've got one more. Sergio Dest, we've been linked with him, the USA international. He's come from Ajax as well. So he played under Erik Ten Hag. He went to Barcelona for about 19 million 2 seasons ago. He's played 40 games. And Daniel Alves has said he's going to be a great player. He's also technically good on the ball, drives forward, sort of the modern day kind of fullback as well. So that's another person that could be on our radar because he's also known to Erik Ten Hag. He played under him as well. And someone made a joke that every single Ajax player is going to be on the radar now. If you played for Ajax or you be associated with them, you're going to have a good look at someone. You're going to have a trial or something.
On that one though, with Dest, I like it. Like I said, I've watched Ajax for a few years. On the pitch, he's a good player, but these rumours off the pitch, he can playing the video games and things like that late at night. So that'd just be a little question mark for me. With the mindset of him wanting to get down and dirty. I want a player to come in and to be good on the pitch and off the pitch. But listen, if Erik Ten Hag can sort that out, I'd be buzzing with Sergio Dest.
So you like him as a player?
As a player, I think he's great, but off the field, it can be a bit. He likes the games and he does all that. Is it Fortnite and things like that, and till 2 a.m. and staying late at night? Because I think Erik Ten Hag, he gave him a couple of shoutings when he was at Ajax for it. for obviously being late. Yeah, remember that at the time.
Wow. Box is saying Sergio Dest's agent is Yank Talking Smack, who's Connor, who actually is part of the channel. So, Connor, have a word if you don't mind, because I know Connor's done a dossier on him. What do you think about Sergio Dest? Any news, Bath time?
There's two interesting things that Peter said there. But first of all, I don't know a lot. Like, as I'm sure everyone knows, I have a massive aversion to foreign football because it's nothing to do with me. But I've just had a look at Sergio Dest's stats, and they're absolutely outstanding. So I think that is someone that we should absolutely have a look at. He's incredible at pressures, tackles, carries, passes, assists. Like those stats are amazing, but Dalot also, for some reason, has incredibly good stats by the same metrics. There is a player in Dalot. I know he's been pretty poor this season, but I honestly think that that he's the player I'm most interested in next season, because I think if Ten Hag's coaching is of the level, we will see why Dalot was regarded as the best right back of his age group like 2 or 3 years ago. And to go to this stuff about playing computer games and that, I remember many years ago, David James blamed an FA Cup final loss on staying up all night playing Tomb Raider. But
Tomb Raider.
That's how long ago.
1990. That's 1996, isn't it?
Yeah, it was the
year before I was born.
But yeah, that's how long David James has been gaming. But it is interesting, like how nowadays, like when you look at players like Ronaldinho, like Lee Sharp, stuff like that, you were worried about them out late, dancing, drinking, messing about with girls, and now it's I can't believe it. Like Dest has been up playing Fortnite squads again, like all night. And I don't know if that's such a bad thing, because he's an American lad, isn't it? So he'll be playing with like, you know, his mates and stuff, and a way of like keeping in touch with them. And it's like it's something that every young person does. You know, you play Fortnite, you play games. I mean, there's this great story about how Luke Shaw has consistently been injured on the release of every Call of Duty. Like, have you never seen that? No, I'm not joking. Every time a new Call of Duty is released, Luke Shaw is injured for the match that weekend. And it's been... Yes, and the thing is that like Luke Shaw is, you know, he is Luke Shaw. But something like playing games and staying up too late, I don't think that that's a huge issue for a young man. Like, I think that can be changed by the club culture and characters in the dressing room. Like, I cannot imagine. I cannot imagine Roy Keane coming in and saying like, you've been playing Overwatch all night? Brilliant. That's exactly what we're looking for. United. I think that if we get the dressing room right, we can bring players in like Dembele, like Dest, and give them a really good like opportunity to stop being 12-year-olds and sort of grow up.
It's interesting that you mentioned Dembele, because he
does the same
as well, hasn't he?
He loves his gaming, doesn't he? At daft o'clock at 2-3 in the morning.
The guy from Rangers,
love him.
The right
Tavernier.
I mean, top goal scorer as well at one period of time. I mean, what do you think of him? Because why has he never been signed for an English club? What's going
I
on
don't
with him?
do a lot of I told you so's, but I after we couldn't get Trippier, who I said would be the most important signing in the summer, was to get Trippier in. Like, more than Sancho, more than Ronaldo, we needed them in. I remember suggesting to Vernier, because I think we could have got him for 10 to 15 million, which is roughly what we budgeted for Trippier. I think he'd be a great signing on the basis that he's an experienced attacking right back. Might not start every match, but against teams that play deep, he would produce better quality than Dalot doing these crazy shots and Wan-Bissaka looking just lost all the time. But also, because we've got such inexperience at right back, like we have Dalot and Wan-Bissaka. Wan-Bissaka's played right back for like 3 seasons or something. We needed an experienced right back to come in and show them how to play. So I would be a big fan of... I know no one's going to like this, but I have belief in Dalot. I know he hasn't shown...
Me too. Snap.
Yeah, I think there's a player there, and he needs work, but I think it's worth persevering with for one season. So I think signing someone like Tavernier to come in and share the load and give him the opportunity to learn, the real the sort of not the fundamentals, but the gritty stuff about playing right back. I think it would be a great move. Yeah, and I agree with Box. Ashley Young would have been our best fullback this season if we'd kept him.
Mad, isn't it? It is mad.
Yeah.
When you say it like that, it's like, wow. You're right.
Yeah. What do you think of OMONDI?
Yeah, I like him. Always makes you wonder why he's not being signed, because he's always played well for a long time now. And saying, well, why has not one of these English clubs signed him if he's that good and getting the numbers that he does? And he's a captain as well and a leader. And when you watch him get to the final all around, because to be honest, I don't really watch much of Scottish football, but he's stuck with them. He's a legend up there. And he's got all the attributes, but it's whether you think so. Can they transfer it to a higher league or better opposition? And he proved it this year by his performances in the Europa League, which is a good standard, So I think he should be on people's radar. I don't know whether he's comfortable up there, whether he wants to come back down to England or not. But yeah,
it's a
I think
massive downgrade. To move from Rangers is a massive downgrade to the clubs that he'll be going to. It's very similar to that Henrik Larsson. You're playing in front of almost 60,000 fans every week at the biggest club in your country with a support that is massive. To leave that to go to Everton, Aston Villa, it's a downgrade, as crazy as it sounds, and it's only a top 6 club I think that Kent or Tavernier would go to, and it's if a team like Arsenal, a team like Spurs should be looking at those players, because I think that they would be an upgrade, but we should just go and get him. Manchester United, we've got good links to Rangers, just go and get him.
Yeah, get Fergie to have a word, eh? But anyway, any last words? Because we're going to wrap it up now. I want to thank you guys for coming on. Petty Talks, where can we find you? Apart from on the main agenda.
I know it's obviously on here. Petty Talks United on TikTok, and I've also got a YouTube channel which I'm going to drop a video very soon. But big up to every single one of you, and big up to you two fellas for having me on. I've really enjoyed it yet again.
And it's been a pleasure having you on, man. Good conversation. What do you think of Bath Time?
He's a legend. He's a legend.
Exactly.
The name's a bit suspect, so you call me out. I'm only joking.
But hopefully we'll be back on again soon, because we've got lots of fillers to gaps, no games on anymore. So hopefully we'll be talking lots of football over the summer. So let's get down to it. Thanks to everyone in the comments. Make sure you press the like button, share, subscribe, do all that. We're off. We'll be back tomorrow at 8:30. And with another show talking about all things Man United and football itself. Bath Time, big up, man. Enough respect, Petty. And we're signing out later.